Alright, so we're working on a fork. I already rebuilt one of them. Figured out I'll record the process and show you guys what I do when I rebuild forks and how I do it. We're going to be working on a R6 Yamaha, obviously, and as you can tell, it's an 09. And we'll be replacing fork oil, and we're gonna be using all balls, fork and oil seal and dust seal. New kit from All Balls. I love using all balls. Never had any problems with them. And if you need the part number, there's the part number for it. It's 417187 for the UPC, but the part number is 56-156. So you can go right to allballsracing.com or eBay, anywhere really. And here's it. I like it as well because they give you a different list of all the stuff they fit. So I'm gonna be using this with some of the tools that are made for it and some redneck tools because, well, nobody has all the expensive fancy things. So first things first, we're gonna look at the rebound adjustment. You can see it's a little dinged up here, like somebody dropped that. But the factory spec is they're supposed to be 50 clicks. Adjustment of 50. So we'll turn it all the way out and then we'll count in to see if we get to 50 because that's the factory. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and that's it. So we hit 30. So somebody rebuilt these forks before and didn't do a right job. So we'll just bring them all the way out. So first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna clamp the fork and the vise. Now I know people freak out about it. It's fine. When you look at the forks, you see it's got this little shade or indentation in it. That's the strongest part of the fork that's designed to put it in a vise. That doesn't mean hammer down on it. All you do is you put it, have it touch, snug it. That's all you need to do with it. Now the shady tool I'm going to be using is here. I can't seem to find my actual fork tool, so I got to use a huge socket, which it works but isn't the best. She likes to slip on it because it's not the actual size. But luckily, that's what I mean by that. But luckily, these right here shouldn't be hammered down. So as you can tell, she slips, but she spins nicely. So we'll just get her nice and loose if she wants to go. It's really nice to invest in actual proper tools, not gonna lie. So if you have the chance, get the right socket for it or something. It's always nice. So we'll just sit here and we'll unscrew the rest of this by hands. Get it all the way out. Now I do things a little different than others. But there we go. So we got that out. I'm gonna actually reposition this so I can work with it. Just set it in like this. Remember, forks, they turn everything, nothing is hammered down, so all you need to do is snug it. There's no problems with that. But first thing we need to do is we need to compress this. So there's eBay sells these hand tools, they're nice. I don't have any. I'm actually borrowing my brother's. It's a Racetech TFSC01. Invest one of these, and if you do forks a lot, it helps out a lot. So I just jumped the gun. I actually got to take this fork back out. I'm just gonna sit this right in here for right now. Careful, there's oil in there. You don't want to spill any of that out, so you don't move it around too much. So go ahead, I'm gonna snug this in there. People leave that in there clamped and they work with this is how I work. It's the easiest for me. Remember, everybody's got a different way of working. This is just how I do it. So now I'm going to be using my cobalt impact to go ahead and tighten this down. Put it right in the hole. You have little holes on the side right there. Tighten it down. And now you're just gonna bring it down. Now remember, you don't want to hammer down on it, especially if you're using a impact. You just want to bring it down enough to compress your spring. Just like that. Now when you pick up on it, you can see I skipped a step, which is a good lesson to do. With these right here, you see how the nut is buried in there? What we need to do is loosen up our rebound here. Because I skipped a step, I might not be able to do it. I might have to tighten it back up. So we'll grab our 14 and we'll just see if we can hold it. Tighten it up. As you can see right there now, it's doing it. You can see the silver piece lifts up. There we go. I had to do that. So now you can see the nut came down, so we can actually go ahead and grab it. So now we're gonna grab our 17 and our 14 and put that on there and crack it loose. Sometimes they're snug, they don't really need to be hammered down, but all you gotta do is crack it loose, and then we go ahead and we unscrew the top. Now I apologize, I don't know what any of these fucking pieces are called, like this piece, this piece, this piece, this piece. I just know what they do and what to do with it. So we're gonna go ahead and set this aside. We're gonna go ahead and take our rebound rod, you don't know what that's called, take that out. Now remember, everything's got oil in it, so we're gonna leave it in our little tray to let it soak in. Now on these forks, we need to take this jam nut all the way out. So you can see there's a little washer. So we're just gonna leave it on there. Just make sure we don't lose that. We're gonna unscrew this all the way. Now when you work with forks, they're not difficult. Nothing is hard about it. But you do wanna make sure you take your time, because everything is built to be lightweight. Everything is built to, be lightweight, so it's faster and perform better. So it's not the strongest of materials. So even though they're strong, they're not strong. So we're gonna go ahead and now we're gonna loosen it back up. Bring it all the way up. You can see right there it loosened up. We're gonna go ahead and undo this. We're gonna take our rebound cap off, just like that. See, there's a little oil in there. I'm gonna go ahead and set that aside. Now you wanna grab a little rag, because the spring is gonna be a little messy. Just remember, there's oil in there. And the reason we're disassembling everything before we take the oil out is because you don't want everything to fall out. Forks have to go together in a specific way. But now, we can go ahead and drain it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna watch as it drains to see the color coming out. Now what you wanna do, there's still a washer inside these. So we're gonna put our finger over this as we drain it, just in case it comes out. We can catch it. And you can see how nice and, I don't know, it might be a little dark, but it doesn't look good. It looks like they got some water in there and everything. So we're gonna go ahead and just let that drain. And you can just see here the washer dropped a little bit. But it's fine. If it's in there, it's in there. If it comes out, it comes out. So now we're gonna go ahead and just pull the outer tube off. Now remember, there's gonna be a little oil in there. So just let it all come out. We're gonna lay this down for a second. Right here, where nothing drips out, and we'll just set this guy over here. Actually, we'll stand it up over here and we'll get to this guy in a little bit. We don't need this compression fork, and we're gonna set this guy down here to catch all the oil. So we'll set this guy aside. And remember, outer tube, you get the discoloration here. That's where you can squeeze it on the fork. So we're gonna open up. You can see we got a lot dripping out. Go ahead. Remember, hit, snug. That's all you do with these. Anything more, you will squeeze the shit out that fork and it's not gonna be fun. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna grab a flathead. Now every time you grab something, you can see my workbench isn't the cleanest. Grab a rag and wipe it. Make sure there's nothing on it. You don't want to scratch it, you want to do nothing with it. All we're gonna do is right in the little lip in between the fork and the dust cover. We're gonna stick this guy in there. We're gonna do a twisting motion to pick up on it. You can see, lift it right up, no effort. Go around the edge of it and do it. Now these guys right here, you can reuse these. You can clean them and reuse them because they just keep dust out. All balls comes with a new one. We're gonna use a new one. When we install the new one, I'll show you what you do to clean these. But as of right now, we're gonna set this guy just in here. And now we got our oil seal. This is where the money maker is. Before we take this out, I see people all the time. They'll sit there and they'll try to pry it out and they forget the simple thing. You look in there, you see the silver C-clip. We're gonna go ahead, to be careful, not to gouge anything. Gonna get our flathead in there, try to pop her out. She might take a little finessing, but she'll come out. You just want to make sure you don't gouge nothing. We'll stick her right in there just like that, and there's our C-clip. Now that we have that out, here we're gonna use the first trick that I learned from the guy in school. I haven't used this a lot. I literally just started doing it again because I forgot all about it. Getting these out can be a pain in the ass. Everybody knows it that's worked on these. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna use a little heat. Yes, it is perfectly safe as long as you don't go overkill. Get a little torch and you heat up the outer edge of where the fork seal sits, the oil seal. And you don't have to hammer down. Just go ahead and get an even heat going all the way around it. It will not damage it. Now you don't want to use a blowtorch or something and get this guy glowing red. Then you will damage it. All we're doing is we're getting her a little warm. This is nothing else than when she sits a nice hot summer day. So just get her warm. Get her warm to the touch. I mean, you want to get her a little warm, but it shouldn't be burning you. And this will make your life so much easier. We just get a nice even heat all the way around it, and that's all it takes right there. So now, remember, clean it up. We're gonna go underneath the oil seal, and we're just gonna give gentle pressure. Now don't hammer down, but because it's oiled up and the outer tube expanded, with a little bit of patience, as you can see, pops right out. And doing it this way, you do not damage any of the thing, the outer tube, because you don't want that. Then you're not gonna get a seal. So we're gonna stick our finger in there. Careful, it might be a little warm. We're gonna get our ring out, or washer, whatever you want to call it. Now to this, you have a flat side and a round side. Flat side always faces the seal. So when you set this in there, the rounded side goes downward and the flat side faces up to the seal. So I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna head and get this nice and clean, and it is nice and warm. Right now it's, you know, still cold out, so it's nice to hold on to it. Warm my hands up a little bit. We're gonna get in there, make sure it's nice and clean. Okay, now here's another trick I learned. You don't want nothing to rip or scratch or tear when you put these new seals in. So we're gonna use grease. There's good greases out there. I'm just using a regular cheapo grease. All you need to do is get a little bit on there, because we just cleaned it all out. This grease will help slide it on, the new seal on. Now we're gonna grab a ring. We just cleaned it. Now remember, flat side faces up, rounded side faces down. Drop that guy in there. And now we're gonna grab our new oil seal. Now there's an up and there's a down. When you look on the down, you can always see when you look in there, I don't know if you can tell, you got a little C-clip in there. And the top will always have writing. You can see there'll always be writing in there. What we're gonna do is, you got these grooves in here. We're gonna pack those with grease too. Now you don't have to go overkill, but you don't have to be stingy on it neither. And there's gonna be people that are saying, oh, why are you using grease? You know, it's bad. But remember, we're sliding this all over the place, and we don't want to tear any of this. Because if we tear it, well, then what we just did is for nothing. And I don't know if you guys know or not, but grease repels water. So it will help keep the oil in, and it'll help keep the water out. So now remember, the outer tube is still decently warm. It's a little cold, so you don't have to, if you want to make it easy, don't be afraid. Just warm it up again a little bit. Remember, it doesn't take much. It's already warmed up enough to room temperature or above room temperature. So we just get a little heat going. Doesn't take much, that's all it needs. Now I got this kit out just to show you. People will use this, put the forks together, and hammer away. Worst fucking thing you ever do. Get her nice and warm. Set this guy in there. Get her started by hand, just like that. Now I like to take the old oil seal, set it on top. Make sure it's lined up so you can actually push it in. Which I'm not lined up. No. There you go. I'm still not lined up. So yeah, I did went in a little crooked, which is not a big deal. Maybe my fork wasn't warm enough, but this is good. You know, I mess up on camera, I can show you the process of worst case scenario, something happens. We don't want to damage that new seal. So all we're gonna do is we'll warm it up. Remember, metal expands when it warms up. So we're gonna get her just a little bit warmer. You can see she went in crooked because I didn't give even pressure, which that will happen, you know, it happens. Everybody makes mistakes, but we don't have to worry about it. Get the seal. She's a little warmer now. Gotta be careful you don't burn yourself. And I just gotta get this corner pushed in first. And make sure it's an even grab. There we go. Now you can see it popped right in. It just takes it doesn't usually go that hard. That was just my own personal mistake. I put her in a crooked. But the good thing is, we greased the outside, we greased the inside, we warmed it up. It didn't really take much effort besides the fact I put it in crooked. Nothing will be damaged. So now we can take our C-clip by again making sure it's nice and clean. Pop this guy in there, and there's a little groove in there. She pops right in there. Push her down in. Seated. And we're done with this guy. We can set this aside. Now we come to this guy here. Drop it in the fork. Boom. So now you remember, it's all taken apart. We drained all the oil. Now what people usually do, they'll sit here, they'll wipe it clean, and they start putting stuff back together. But I'm gonna turn this around. Why is my camera off? Like I was saying, people start throwing it back together, shine this up, whatever. There's a few steps you're missing. You see this guy here? A lot of people ignore this. This is your rebound right here. What happens is, you get shavings in there. Because what happens, you got your spring that sits inside that tube. Take any spring, when you compress it, as you can see, it bends outward. So this right here is constantly rubbing and shaving parts off the spring and inside tube that settles down in there. Now remember, we drained all the oil out, correct? Wrong. I'm gonna show you right now. We're gonna drop this up here, just so you can see. We're gonna take this guy off. Now they make a special tool for that, don't even worry about it. As long as you're careful, you're good. We're gonna take our normal crescent wrench, set it on there, and as long as you're careful, now you can see right here, that's really snug. It should not be that snug. Somebody hammered down on it. See that? That's either never been taken apart, or somebody used an impact or something. Now this will sit here, and we'll take a little bit of time. They're fine threads. And you want to take your time because you don't want to damage anything. So we're going to take that entire component out, the entire rebound. It'll take a little bit to unscrew, so have some patience. This GoPro is going to be the death of me if it stops recording. So we're just going to sit here and get it nice and unscrewed. And we're going to show you that even though you drain all the oil, if you forget this guy, there's still oil in there. So we're going to sit here. Unscrewed my hand now. She's gonna go. Once she's unscrewed, sometimes she pops out, sometimes she doesn't. You can see right there, look at all the oil running out. So we're gonna go ahead and pick this guy out so we stop making a mess out of things. And I don't know if you can tell. I'm gonna grab my camera, but get it here in the light. Maybe you can see. See how silver this is? It's because of all the shavings in it. All the metal shavings. Now, don't be worried. This is perfectly normal, but you can see right there that is filled. So now what we're gonna do is we're not gonna set that there. We're gonna set this guy over here. Make sure I'm still recording, which I am. We're gonna undo this guy, and now watch. Get this all out. See how silver that was? Now it's empty, right? Wrong. I'm gonna go ahead, and I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but as we're pumping our rebound rod here, fills back up. Now watch. And you can see, if you look in there, it's probably hard to tell on camera, there's metal flakes in there. Those metal flakes are from that spring. So we're just gonna make sure we get everything out. Now we're sucking air. She's empty. Okay, so what we're gonna do, make sure this is clean, no dirt on there. I'm gonna give this a quick wipe. Now people just wipe and they leave it. What you wanna do is get some sandpaper. I got this 2000 grit. Ideally you wanna use a 400 grit cloth paper, but this works fine because they're not that bad of a shape. Just sit there and you polish it up. This one really isn't as good because it doesn't take the imperfections out as that good, because it's only a 2000 grit. But you just work it around, take out any small imperfections or dings. This right here is enough to get anything out that might snag on the seal. Like I said, ideally you want to use 400 grit cloth sandpaper, but as long as you have anything higher than that, just run it around, give it a nice little clean. And you want to make sure you wipe it back off afterwards. Now you want to take your rebound here, make sure that's all clean. And you don't want to stick it back in there first, we're going to put oil in there. So we're going to get some oil, we're going to put it in there. Now you don't want to put it too high because you'll seep it out. Just fill it up and wait a second and get a little bit of the air out. And now you're going to drop this in slowly. Drop it in there. Go counterclockwise until it seats. You're gonna have to give it a little push to sit in there, and you just start turning it in. But actually, what you want to do, the step I forgot, is you want to take a little bit of grease, just drip a little bit's fine, put it on the threads. It works like anti-seize. It helps it keep water out. It just helps out. Don't have to be afraid to put a little bit on there. Drop it in there. You might have to give it a little push to seat in there, just like that, and then you want to tighten that up. Now you might leak out a little bit, depending how much you fill there. Just wipe it up, that'll be fine. Tighten it down all the way by hands. You see it's dripping out a little bit, just wipe it up so you don't make a mess. We'll put this guy back down here just in case we got some drippage. Okay, we tighten it by hand as far as we can get it. It's a little harder. So now that's there, we'll grab our crescent wrench again. Now remember, this takes a little bit of time. Just go all the way, tighten it up. You don't need no special tools. If you do it a lot, the special tools make it easier and quicker. But as you can see, any basic garage tool will work for this. Now what you want to do once it gets tight, you don't want to hammer down on it. I'll show you how to tighten it. So now it stopped. See, it's not going anymore. Snug. That's all this guy needs. It does not need much. If you're afraid, you can go ahead and you can give it a little push. It doesn't really go any further than that anyway. If you go any further, you can damage it. So now we're going to clean it all up again. Make sure there's no drippage. Take this guy, wipe it one more time. And now we're going to take our oil seal. Here's the old one. The way you clean the old ones, you just wipe them down. But the main thing you want to do is inside of them, they have a lip. What you want to do, you run this around the inside of the lip, and debris builds up in there. You just wipe it all out. And that's pretty much how you clean the old ones. Because our kit came with a new one, we're going to head and get a new one. And this acts as a scraper. It goes down, so we're just gonna go ahead and pop this guy on there, and we bring her all the way down, just like that. Now this is ready to go to get reassembled. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our tube. Now remember, we had the seal in there. We don't want to damage. Got oil, grease on there to help out. but just slowly seat it, get it working past. So now when you drop it, I'll show you once it drops. You're gonna have to work a little bit. You'll hit a little ting right there. That's that washer and spacer and everything. So now you're working past that. And all you gotta do is to seat it. Give it a couple of smacks, like that. There you go. Dust seal's in there. Good to go. Can you tell I haven't used that kit at all yet, once. You don't need to. If you're using that, you take the chances of breaking stuff. So now we're gonna go ahead and start reassembling. First, what we're gonna do is we need to bleed out our rod. As you can see, there's nothing in there. So we're gonna go ahead, gonna dump it. You can fill it up all the way, it doesn't matter. It's gonna put a good amount in there. But because we need to now get all the air out, we put our bleeder rod in there. We go ahead and we drop that right in there. You can hear all the air bubbling out itself. Drop that guy in there. Now ideally, there's a special tool for this. Again, I don't have that, so we're gonna show you how to do it without it. You just sit there, and you gotta go ahead and pump this. It's gonna take a while to get all that air out of there. So you just keep working it. Push down, pull up, push. You just keep working it until all that air comes out. It's gonna take a little bit. Remember, there's nothing in there because we drained it all out. So now we're working it all through. Now you can hear, you can see and hear the difference. So now when we drop it, we put just a little pressure on there. You can see. So you want to do this probably 10 to 15 times. Once you got the pressure, do it 5 more times, just to ensure it's all out. And then we got all the air out of the system. Make sure you come all the way up, all the way down, all the way up, all the way down. You can do this as many times as you want, just to ensure yourself. Now we're gonna bring it to the proper level. The way fork works, you obviously get your spring, but you also have the fluid, which acts as your dampening, and also air. So people put this at different stuff. We have this set around 120. What we're gonna do is we drop this guy in there, make sure it's got proper fluid level. So I'm gonna go ahead, make sure it's coming out, and see it's sucking air. So we want to put a little more in there because we want to make sure we're at the good level. So dump some more in there, and whatever we pull out, we want to put back in there because it's good oil. We can use that. Still not enough in there, so we dump some more in there. Still sucking there. So we're gonna go ahead and open up a new bottle now. Now you can go ahead and just fill it right to the top and then suck it all out. I want to do it in small increments because that's less of the fluid I gotta suck back out. So I don't want to sit here all day sucking it out. So we're gonna go ahead. See, now we're sucking fluid. Take that fluid, push it back in there, stick it back in there, get all that fluid that we just put in there out of there to get it at the adjusted level that we want. And you'll know you're at the right level because you'll hear the air sucking out. Once I get to it, you'll see it. Or hear it, I should say. We should be there pretty soon. Now one thing you want to do is when you do all this, it's nice to wear gloves, medical gloves, garage gloves, anything, because this oil is a mess. It gets just sticky. So we're gonna go ahead and get this all out of there. And then hopefully soon we'll be at the level we need. Apparently I put a little too much in there. But we should be right there. Almost. I'm hoping. Almost. This is why I say you want to go in increments filling it out, because if I would have had it all the way to the top, I'd be sitting here for a while getting it all back out. Now they make all kinds of different tools to take this out. This is just a cheapo eBay one I borrowed from my brother. Some go quicker than others. This does the job just fine. Hopefully soon we'll get all the fluid out of there. It's taking quite a minute there. There you go. Suck in air. So we're gonna do it one more time to verify. Still sucking air. So now we're at the right level. We can go ahead and put this guy aside. Wipe our hands because it's nice and oily. So now we want to get our dampener rod out. We want to go ahead and screw this guy all the way back on. Now we want to go down all the way. Go down all the way. And once you get all the way, you'll know because she'll stop. Just back it off the bottom. Now we can go ahead, put the spring in there. Just like that. And what I'm going to do is take this guy out for a second because I'm going to need my compressor again. Go ahead, we'll drop this guy back in there. You're going to set this guy right here. What we'll do is we'll put this guy on top to get it ready. Now this is where your tool comes in handy. I don't have it, so I'm going to show you how to do it the other way. Anything you can do, I'm going to use this right here. Pull it up on the threads. It won't hurt it as long as you're careful because it doesn't take much. Just hold it enough to pull it up. Just like that. See, I messed up. We gotta take this guy back off. Totally didn't think that through. But that's alright. That's alright. That's just how it goes. We set this guy right there so it doesn't get dirty. Holding this guy because she'll drop down. Put this guy over. I'm gonna go ahead and catch that rod again. So now what we're gonna do is gonna tighten this part up with it. Put that on there. I'm gonna press that spring. That'll make it easier for us to reach that. Now she'll drop slowly. I don't have any weight on this, so it shouldn't be too bad. We're gonna go ahead and put this guy back on there. As this guy go down a little more. There you go. There we go. You want to be able to see the bottom there. Now usually she drops down slowly by itself because I don't have much weight on there. She isn't gonna really do it too bad. So again, we'll put this on all the way. Back it up off the bottom. Take this guy. And make sure you put some grease on the threads on this guy. Now you don't have to be afraid with it. Be a little generous. Don't overdo nothing. But just be generous. Put it on the threads. Help keep water out. Help seal it up better. And while you do all this, you want to make sure that guy isn't dropping. I'm fortunate enough to where it's not dropping. So we're going to go ahead, set that guy on there, and screw it on there. But before we do that, we need to go ahead and adjust it 50 clicks. The factory setting on this is 50. So right now we're all the way out, so we'll bring it in 50. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we got our pre-adjustment of 50, which is per factory. And I'm gonna go ahead and screw it down until it doesn't turn anymore. Right there. So one way you can check to make sure that's all the way down, put your screwdriver back on top and see if you can turn that click, if it'll click or not. So if that doesn't turn anymore, you're good to go. So now we're gonna grab our 17 and our 14 again. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this guy up. Just like that. Now you don't have to go overkill with it, but you want to snug it enough to where it's not gonna come apart on you. That's all you gotta do right there. So now we can go ahead, back up off of this until she's loose. We'll loosen this guy back up. Take it out. set it on the table, we'll lift this up. What you do is go counterclockwise first until you make sure she's seated, and then you can go ahead and tighten it up. So the last thing you want to do is cross thread anything, because that of course wouldn't be fun. So now you just go ahead. This guy is nice and cold. Tighten her up. Get her as tight as you can by hand. Oh. See, I gotta back it up a little bit, get the towel stuck in there. Just like that. Then we take our socket. Again, it's easier if you have the tool. I can't find it. Just go ahead. All you gotta do is snug it. The way you want to double check it's snug. So we're gonna drop this guy in here. Remember, put her at the marking. And all we're gonna do is get her tight, snug it. That's all you need. And we're gonna go ahead. This guy slips off, but she's tight. So now while we're here, we're gonna adjust our damper. Right now we're at 50 clicks in and out of free movement. I like to put it at 20, so we're gonna go 20 out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It's a good adjustment for people to start out of. And now we're gonna go ahead and adjust our pre-load. I like to put it at 7 turns. It's just what I've come to learn is a good spot for people to start it. So we do 7 full rotations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And as you can see, that brought that metal piece down. That's just your preload. You can always check to make sure this has 50 movements. We went 20, so we should be able to go 30 more. So all we can do is click it on there and go 30 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can't go anymore. So we know we got our 50 movement and we're good to go. So we go 30 back in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're out 2 more. So now we're gonna take it out, and you want to work the fork just to check it. So we go ahead, hold something here, and just work it. And as you can see, she works pretty, and she's nice and shiny with no fluid loss. And we're gonna go ahead, we'll take this other one, I'll show you. This one's already done, set the same way this guy is. Acts the same way. This one had a little fluid on there, I got a little messy with this one. There you go. And that's how you rebuild a fork.